First impressions of owning a 2021 Subaru WRX with the F820 motor in it, the 2.0 liter turbo. It's a 6-speed manual. This is going to be an unbiased couple hints and notes that I have on the car as we first got it, just first impressions we have on the vehicle and what somebody that's never been in a Subaru might think. As you guys might be aware from my first video on YouTube, I had a couple issues with it, so that's why we're going to start off with the first topic, which is sensitivity. The first thing with these cars that I have noticed is the sensitivity of these vehicles. Depending on what kind of fuel you get will matter on how this thing drives. If you get old fuel or if you get the wrong octane, this thing will give you problems. And as in my situation, when you get E85 and don't test it, you're gonna have a whole nightmare of problems. And luckily we didn't blow it up. We didn't have any more problems other than just a fuel injector issue. To touch on the sensitivity part, you do not send them in first gear. You do not want to launch the vehicle in first gear. That is a known thing with Subarus. Ambassador Bridge from Detroit, Canada. I'm on Detroit's side, that's Canada. Now we are in the historic part of Detroit where the historic homes are. So second impression we have that's also not a good one is the interior noise on these things. Coming from a Chrysler 300 and a Jeep, which I'm not saying they're any kind of special luxury brand cars, but they are much more quieter inside the vehicle than this one. However, this thing, you want to hear the noise, you want to hear the engine, you want to hear the turbo. That's what it's all about. So it doesn't really bother me, but one thing I definitely did notice is the fact that this car has a lot more interior noise than other vehicles I have driven. So impression number 3, the infotainment system. These things are infamously bad, and let me tell you, they are terrible. Coming from a Uconnect screen, they are not as sensitive. For how sensitive these vehicles are, you'd think the touchscreen would be a little bit better. One of my major concerns with the infotainment system is just the touch. Other than that, it's pretty decent size for the rear view camera. It has Android Autoplay, Apple Play, it has all your normal features that come with it, standard with any other vehicle. So here's just an example to show you guys what the screen is. View in my manual, you just have to pull this up, put it in reverse, and it pops up. And the camera's pretty decent. You get some lines to kind of show you where you're going. So like I said, overall for a 2021, it comes with everything you need to get a comfortable drive in, and it comes with all the gadgets and features you would need just to feel comfortable. So in the grand scheme of things, the infotainment system is not the worst, it's just not very responsive. It takes a good press or a good couple presses sometimes if you're not paying attention to get what you're looking for, or to get what you want. And that is the train station from Detroit. It is a historical building and it was purchased out by Ford, and they are restoring the whole entire building. For our fourth impression of our video, we are at the Motor City Casino Hotel. Number 4 would be clutch engagement. The clutch engagement is not ideal for somebody that comes from a Mustang. Now granted, this was a 99 Mustang GT. However, the clutch engagement just felt much better and much closer to where it should have been. This clutch, it seems to be almost halfway. You have to release the clutch almost halfway for the clutch to actually start engaging, which causes you to stall out sometimes at a red light. If you're a beginner or relearning how to drive one of these vehicles, if you're just quick to get off the red light, it's not the same as some other vehicles I have driven. I have driven other manuals. I'm just saying about a car that I've actually owned that was a stick shift, was a Mustang 99 GT, and the engagement seemed almost a quarter of the clutch from the floor, while the Subaru seems to have a clutch engagement about halfway, which can make this car pretty hard to drive for somebody that is learning how to drive a stick shift. There's going to be an up-and-coming video of my wife attempting to drive this car. However, for a beginner learning how to stick shift, this might be a difficult car to learn on. However, it's not impossible. Driving stick shift or a manual is not anything special. It's just a skill you have to learn. It's like riding a bike once you learn it, and then you just gotta just kind of refresh to what you used to know. And at the end of the day, the clutch placement and where the clutch catches is going to affect on how easy it is to learn on a vehicle. Especially given the fact that these seem to be a little bit more aggressive. When it catches, and these things just seem to be torquey. Impression number 5 is going to be off of MGM Grand's parking lot structure. Impression number 5 kind of ties in with number 1 where they're sensitive, but number 5 is the expensives. Getting one of these WRXs repaired or serviced is expensive, especially this one since it's modified. Dealerships don't even want to touch it, and they're just going to keep giving you the runarounds. Watch my first YouTube video to kind of find out what I mean by that. It was a nightmare just to get a fuel injector diagnosed and fixed on this vehicle. What also doesn't help with the expenses on this vehicle is that Boxer engine, the 4-cylinder Boxer engine that Subaru and Porsche are known for. They are a specialty engine. Not everybody knows how to work on these, and not everyone is going to want to work on these or even try. And I mean, you can skip this whole hassle by just not buying a modified Subaru. But that's a gamble we decided to take. It just seems that it wouldn't be so much as the modifications being the problem. It was bad fuel. It was a fuel injector that got sticky because of the fuel, and it just so happens. Could have that happened with a stock vehicle? Nobody knows. Some say yes, some say no because of the tune. But regardless, it's a cost that I had to eat, and it's just a heads up for you guys. If you're running a modified one, or just in general, check that fuel, because these cars do get expensive. An added myth that I heard when I was first looking at these cars, or was even researching them, is that these cars have great fuel mileage. They do not have great fuel mileage. They have okay fuel mileage, but they are not great or excellent. Even driving it relatively easily, do not put any fuel that it is not recommended for the vehicle. So if your vehicle's tuned or made for 93 fuel, make sure you are putting 93 to avoid a world full of problems. That's why one of the best pieces of advice I can give you is find a reputable tune shop near you. If you are in Michigan, check out BCP or AKD, depending on what year and model of your Subaru is. But BCP hooked us up. Stay away from the dealerships with these vehicles. You can tune these to E85. However, remember, E85 does not mean it's cheaper, because that's what it is at the pump. These cars burn through E85 much faster. It goes about double the amount or twice as fast as my 93. So if I fill this up with 93, I pretty much can almost get double the mileage I get out of it. But we all know everybody loves corn.